So welcome everyone to the Domino Data Lab webinar on creating and managing optimizing Facebook ads from R. My name is Gergely Doruzzi. I'm an R developer at car.com, a prepaid debit card startup in Santa Monica, where we have created this package so that we can easily interact with the Facebook marketing API that I will present to you in a few minutes. But first, some housekeeping. So this webinar was scheduled for like 30 minutes, but we will have some time after that for questions and answers. So I kindly ask you to hold questions until the end of this presentation. And both the slides and the scripts used here will be shared publicly after the webinar. I'm sure Anna from Domino will send an email including that information to all of you. But please feel free to follow me on Twitter as well for related news. You can see my Twitter handle here, and it will be also included in the footer of the forthcoming slides. So for those who are not yet familiar with Domino Data Lab, let me show you this quick overview. So Domino is a data science platform with a pretty intuitive interface to use different analytic tools, as you can see here, like R, Python, Julia, H2O, and so on. And believe me, I mean, this is not a marketing slogan that I was asked to read up for you. It's indeed very, very intuitive and fun to use. For example, I could set up a custom project yesterday using environmental variables, not to share private information like my Facebook token. Within the source code of my project, I was able to cache installed R packages to speed up the runtime of my projects. Also created a web form front end for a small application that I developed so that non-technical users can also generate reports on their own as a kind of self-service BI solution. And I managed to do this in like 30 minutes without any prior experience with Domino, so I found that extremely impressive. And other than that, I also especially liked that the platform has many cool collaboration features. It's definitely a step forward compared to what we have with standard Git and Subversion repositories, so that you can comment on and discuss the results of the analysis, not only the source code. So in short, I think this is very cool. And if we have some time at the end of the webinar, I will be very happy to show that app I created for you. At Domino, this app is interacting with the Facebook marketing API to get some reach estimates for different keywords. And it can also identify the overlap between the Facebook profiles interested in the keywords. And this app generates a Venn diagram at the end for the given free keywords. So marketing API, which is the main topic for today. First, let me please introduce myself in a few words. I've been doing quite many things in the past, like 10 years, besides using R since 2004. For example, I worked as a homeless outreach and social worker. I was teaching stats and data analysis for like 5 years, doing my PhD in sociology. I founded the R Meetup and user group in Hungary at Budapest, also an R-based reporting startup. I did some R-related consultancy, but I was never involved in any marketing project. Still, I was referred to as marketing people because of the default settings in one of my R packages, where I centered the cells in a markdown table. So, well, as you can see in the Stack Overflow post, I was referred to as a marketing person, and I found that really, really annoying, and I felt heavily offended. But then I indeed ended up doing some online marketing at car.com. First, simply doing some reporting, then trying to optimize the online ads. And I soon realized that there are some very, very interesting data science questions and a very rich data set when it comes to online marketing. And I really, really enjoyed interacting with the Facebook API and try to optimize our ads. So based on that, bear in mind that I'm not a marketer, but let me try to explain why is it a good idea to advertise on Facebook. So this social networking map is pretty outdated from 2010. It's also very well known, but still I think it's a good summary on why it would be a good idea to create an ad compared to traditional ads. You can see that there are many users in the different social networks. Nowadays, like 25% of all marketing happens on the internet. Let's see why. To show a bit more up-to-date stats, you can see here the number of active internet users. We have the internet penetration worldwide a bit about 40%, which doesn't seem to be that high. But if you focus on the unique mobile users, so it's possible that multiple users are sharing the same mobile device and they are using social networking sites on those mobile devices, the penetration is above 50%. And well, if you have a special target audience, like what we do at car.com, for example, you can see here a prepaid debit card with the I Heart R or I Love R design. The internet penetration of those guys who might be interested in a debit card like this one, as I'm pretty sure that close to like 100%. And of course, besides this one, we have many different other designs, and believe me, the behavior of those cardholders with walking that card is very different from, let's say, those who have a Grumpy Cat card in their pocket. So this fact is very important and exciting for us, for data scientists, that we can use this data to come up with future ads. Like we have information on the cardholders, we have their transactions, we know what they do on our homepage, our mobile app or IVR. We have access to ad performance metrics from Facebook, AdWords, and a few other partners as well. We have data from our other partners. So we can continuously analyze these rich data sets, and we can use those as a training data in our models, deciding on future ads. So let's see how we can do that in practice. Everyone knows that Google is monitoring what you are searching for. Amazon knows what you would like to buy or what you bought last week, and Facebook knows what you like. And probably that's the most important when it comes to marketing. And we have some cool platforms behind these sentences that you can usually use from R. For example, for the AdWords platform, there's a pretty cool package available on GitHub. For Amazon, I don't know any R package, probably due to the fact that the Amazon Ad API is pretty limited. And for Facebook, we have the FBRads or FBRads package that I would like to demo to you today, that you can install from GitHub with this command. So this information is used to advertise you. We are using that, many other companies using this information. And the cool thing in this that there are not much privacy issues with this technique. What I found very, very smart. So let's see how it works. Just to give you a quick summary on custom audiences and lookalike audiences at Facebook, which is important so that you can understand the future slides with the actual R code. So let's say you have a website, you have customers, you know the email address, and let's say the phone number of these customers, and you would like to match some Facebook profiles based on the information you have. Of course, you do not want to share any private information on your customers to third party, like the email address or phone number. But what you could do, you can compute the hash of your email addresses or phone numbers, which is basically a fingerprint of the original data, which does not include any personal information. And you can share those hashes with, let's say, Facebook, who in return can match those hashes you have uploaded with their own hashes, and they can identify the matched accounts, so Facebook profiles. They will create a custom audience based on the matched hashes for you, but they won't tell you who are matched from your list. So you are sharing some hashes. In return, Facebook creates a custom audience with you without sharing any personal information. So now you have a custom audience on Facebook, which is a segment, a subgroup of your customers. You don't know who is included in that segment, who is not, but you know that everyone in that group is your original customer. And this smart thing is called lookalike audience, which is based on some machine learning algorithms at Facebook. They are looking for Facebook profiles similar to your custom audience, and they will return you an audience that you can use to target your ads. Okay, the last slide about the theoretical stuff that we need before we go to the actual R codes. Here you can see the structure of Facebook ad campaigns. So we have 3 different levels. The top one, the campaign, is kind of a placeholder. You just give a name to your campaign. Then we have different ad sets within a campaign where you define the budget, the bidding, the optimization of your ads and placement. And the third level is called ads or ad groups, where you include the creatives, so the image and the text for your ads. So this is very, very simple. You create a campaign, you create an ad set for your budgets and target, and then you define the ads with an image and the text. Which sounds very, very simple if you have been dealing with Facebook ads and especially with the marketing API. If you look back the history of this API, there were quite many changes. In the past, like 1.5 years, there were 7 different versions of the API. So if you are actively using that, you have to maintain your scripts and applications interacting with the API, because things can change from version to version. Just to give you a few examples, now there's a new API version every 6 months. For example, in 2014, there were only 2 levels of the ad structure, so there were only campaigns and ads, which changed in 2015 for the 3-level structure that I showed to you a few minutes ago. What was strange in 2015, that the new level called ad set between the campaigns and ads used for budget and targeting was still called as campaign at the API endpoint. And the campaigns were called campaign group. So the user interface used very different terms compared to the API. So when you created an application interacting with the marketing API, you have to bear in mind that campaign in your actual code refers to ad set, not campaigns at the UI level. Good news that this year, with the new version of the API, with version 2.5, Facebook decided to have a consistent naming schema between the API and UI. So now both the UI and the API uses the campaigns, ad set, and ad terms, which is pretty cute. Another thing to note, that in the past we used to have the ad report stats endpoint, which was an extremely fast API endpoint. I really, really like that, because we could get the performance metrics of our ads within half second or something like that. Then in 2015, the Insights API endpoint was introduced, which is extremely powerful. You can do batch queries, you can look for very, very interesting data, but it was extremely slow. It was introduced, a query for one of our Facebook accounts with any ads took multiple minutes to finish. So it was definitely not okay for like high frequency ad monitoring. All right, we have the theoretical background. We can start creating ads from R. A quick question to you. Has anyone seen this ad in the past few days on Facebook? Just, I think you can simply comment in the sidebar. If you have seen this, not many, okay. We will see why this happened. Maybe this one, and around October, September. This ad was about another talk I gave about this package. And maybe this one about the user conference last summer in Denmark. Okay. There are a few yes, but more no's. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for your kind feedback. We will see some ad performance metrics that will explain why the hit rate was so low. Well, I already see some comments that I'm not on Facebook. Of course, if you're not on Facebook, you cannot see these ads, which is a limitation of these ads. All right, so let's see how I created these previously shown free ads. So my idea was that if I would like to talk about an R package, then the target audience is made up of R users. So first I needed a list of R users and the email address of those R users that I can share with Facebook so that I can create a custom audience. Then I can ask Facebook to create a lookalike audience, which means that please match my Facebook profiles with the other Facebook profiles and provide me a list with potential R users. So I went to CRAN. You can see this is the homepage when CRAN lists the summary of all the packages. So we have like 8,000 packages on CRAN. The interesting thing for now that we have the maintainer's name and the email address in the first column. So we can easily write an R script where I fetch this homepage, I use the XML package to read this HTML table, I grab the first column, apply a quick regular expression, and we have like 4,000 email addresses fetched from the internet in like 60 seconds. So I have 4,000 email addresses of R developers. You can see a list of the top 5 users here, like Dirk, Kurt Hornick from CRAN, and also a few other very productive R developers. I also included some stats on the domain names used by R developers. rproject.org is really frequent, as you can see here. Anyway, the interesting thing for us is that we have 4,000 email addresses that I can upload to Facebook in an anonymized way. So I computed the hash of these email addresses, uploaded to Facebook, and then Facebook reported that only 900 accounts were matched for these 4,000 email addresses. So for those like 8,000 R packages, there are only like 900 Facebook accounts matched. This is an extremely low rate, and I think that explains some of the comments that I've seen in the sidebar. So many of the tech people might not be on Facebook, or they are using a personal email address to register on Facebook and using a company email address to upload the R packages to CRAN. Anyway, we have only 900 accounts, so that's not good for advertising. I would like to have a lot more Facebook accounts so that I can reach a lot more users. So the next idea was to check the R help mailing list archive. I just went to this homepage. From the table of contents, I could find the URLs of all the archives. I downloaded those. You will be able to review the actual R script later from the slides. I applied some regular expressions to look for the from field. I extracted the email addresses, and they have like 270,000 email addresses in a few minutes. You can see the top few users like Professor Brian Ripley, David Gabor, and for example, SmartPink, who is the top 6 user. Any idea who is SmartPink? No answers in the sidebar. All right, we do not have much time, so I won't wait for any further answers. Anyway, SmartPink is Arun from the data table package, who is extremely active both on our help and Stack Overflow. All right. One limitation of this quick and very dirty approach, just to verify if we did a good job or not, Professor Brian Ripley had at least 25 different email address and name combinations. So when I matched for this email address, that was a lot lower than the actual number of emails sent by the professor. Anyway, I think this is more than enough for us. We have like 29,000 unique email addresses and 4,000 other email addresses from the other list. So you can upload more than 30,000 email address hashes to Facebook to create a custom audience. Let's see how can we do that from R. So if you want to use the fbrads package, first you have to authenticate with the Facebook API. Go to developers.facebook.com/apps, and you can create a new application very easily. I have detailed instructions on how to do that, how to set the webhooks and things like that on GitHub. You can see the GitHub URL in the footer of the slides. If you go there, you will find the details and instructions on this. After you have created the application, you have to create a token that you can use in the future to interact with the marketing API. I use the HTTR package to generate this token from R. And after you have the token, make sure that you save this secret token in a safe place, like do not commit this to a Git repository. Keep this locally that you can use later to interact with the API. Okay, when you have the token, you have to initialize the connection to the marketing API by installing the package. Currently, it's hosted on GitHub, not yet on CRAN. After finalizing the new version of the package, I will push that to CRAN as well. Until then, you can use the DevTools command to install it, and then just issue an fbad_init command. All the future functions from this package will start with fbad. So now we have a connection to the marketing API. Let's create an audience first. So we are using the fbad_create audience function. You just provide a name for this custom audience and the title. Then we can use the fbad read audience function to check a few parameters of our custom audiences. Here, Facebook returned 20 users for our newly created audience. 20 means at the Facebook API that data is not available or the number returned would be extremely small. So due to privacy concerns, they are not sharing the actual number. In short, handle 20 as NA in the future if you are interacting with the API. So now let's use the fbad add audience function, and I upload the email addresses to Facebook. Note that here I'm passing the actual email addresses, but this function is clever enough to compute the hashes of the email addresses, not to share the personal information with Facebook. After reading the size of the audience, you can see that we have like 9,000 matched Facebook profiles based on the email list I generated in a few minutes. So now we have a custom audience, including our users and developers. I do want to target these 9,000 users, but I would like to target some other R users as well who are not on the R help mailing list and those who have not created an R package yet. So we can create lookalike audiences. Here I'm running the create lookalike audience function in a loop and generating a lookalike audience for every country from where there was at least one attendee at the user conferences in the past. So for this, I use the dataset, which includes the number of attendees of user conferences, run this loop, and here you can see the results. So I've generated like 25 different lookalike audiences, which includes 1% of the accounts registered on Facebook who are very, very similar to the accounts matched in my custom audience. All right, so now we have 25 lookalike audiences that we can use for targeting. We can start creating our first ad. I define campaign, which is a kind of a placeholder, a top level container of our ads. We just provide a name and an objective here. So the objective in the campaign I created to get more and more link clicks for my ads. Then, if you have the campaign, you have to define an ad set. But for an ad set, you first have to define a target. We will use the custom audience we have created and also the lookalike audiences. Here we just merge these to a list, which will push to Facebook as a JSON object. So in the ad set, I again provide a name. I provide the parent campaign ID here. I also define how I would like to be billed, the optimization goal. I define the budget, like I would like to spend like $42 on this budget, and an end time. Of course, there's not much sense in doing a promo for a webinar after it has ended. And I also provide the target. Okay, so we have an ad set. Now the third level, the actual ad, including the image and the text. To be able to do that, you have to upload the image first. So you create an image at Facebook. Facebook in return sends you a hash of the image that you can use in the future to refer to the actual image. And if you have the image, then we can create a creative, which includes the image we have uploaded and also title and the description of the ad. So here I created an ad with the title, How to Create Ads from R, and use the image I downloaded from the Domino homepage. And I get a creative ID. And I can use this creative ID to create this actual ad by a very simple call to fbed create ad, where I just provide the ad set ID, which also includes the campaign ID, of course, and the creative. So if you have set up everything correctly, creating the actual ad is very, very easy. So now we have just created an ad. It might seem to be a bit complex, and if you want to create multiple ads, it might be frustrating to do all these steps again. But honestly, if you have this boilerplate, creating the new ads is very, very easy. Here you can see a loop when I create 2 further ads with the same image, but I changed the taglines from how to create ads to how to manage ads and how to optimize ads. So I'm just simply doing ABC testing on my ad to see which tagline works the better. And then I can go to Facebook, use the UI to see the performance metrics, or, well, we have an R package to interact with the marketing API, right? So we just use the FB_insights function to get the number of impressions, clicks, CTR, and a few other things from the API. So here you can see the overall stats of the 3 ads I created. You can see that the number of clicks for the first one is extremely high. The second only received like 30 clicks. Any ideas from you guys? Which might be the create ad, which might be the manage ad, and which might be the optimize ad? Yeah, I see we are just running out of time. So let's see the next thing. So the first one was actually optimize ads. Everyone was interested in how to optimize the Facebook ads. You know, creating ads and managing ads is pretty boring, but you can also see in the CPC. So the amount you had to pay for a click for your ads is a lot higher for managing ads and create ads because the click-through rate is high. So Facebook is asking for more money to show those ads. Anyway, from this, I know that in the future, I should not create an ad having the manage ads or create ads in the title, I should create an ad having the optimize term in the title. And as using R, we can do some statistical tests if the sample size was good enough, if the results are significant, very, very easy things to do, of course, in R. And just in a few minutes, let me show you why is it a good idea to use this package instead of directly interacting with the API. So we have seen this FB Insights query. If I'm looking for all the ad performance running today, then I would expect something like that. So I want to get a row for every ad I have today running, and I want to see the impressions, frequency, and things like that. The problem is that sometimes Facebook returns something like this instead of the expected results. If you debug this, you can see that, well, the parameter level must be one of ad, set, campaign, or account. So yeah, the API endpoint changed a bit with version 2.5. So instead of level equals to ad group, you have to use level equals to ad. Now let's see what happens. Expected results are still the same. Response from Facebook, network is unreachable. This is a routing problem at Facebook. This happens from time to time. So we have to retry the query. Let's see again. Response, no response from the server. This happens again. Temporary issue, you have to retry the query again. What else might go wrong? The header here includes a status message that service is not available. Again, this is a temporary issue. You have to retry the query again. What else might go wrong? The header says that, okay, we received something which is HTML, but we could not parse this. This is because the response was, sorry, something went wrong. So, of course, when you use a JSON parser in R, that will fail on this otherwise very neat error message. Or let's see this. Now we get a JSON from the API endpoint, which is good. But the content of the JSON is that, sorry, the job failed. So you have to query again. Good news that although there might be very different temporary errors with the API endpoint, but this package can handle all these for you. So if there's a temporary error, the package will retry the query automatically. So you can sleep well at night when your automated scripts are running. You won't get an email notification due to some annoying curl error. The package will retry it again, and hopefully we'll be able to get the expected results in a few minutes. You can see a demo on that, like I queried the Insights API endpoint. There were some network errors. Then my sync request failed, so the package automatically started an async request, and then dynamically started to pull this async request if it was ready. And after like 2 minutes, you get the actual results after having like 5 different errors with the API endpoint. But the package can heal these problems for you. So this is, I think, very, very useful. And yeah, we have async and batch query supports, which are pretty cool things too. So in short, I think there's a pretty cool technology that you can use to interact with the Facebook API. Honestly, there's no function in the package to automatically optimize the ads for you, but we have reporting tool, we have ad management tool that you can use in your scripts to come up with the actual algorithms to create, manage, and optimize your ads. All right, so I think we covered most of what I wanted to present here. I have some backup slides on a few other things. I also have an application created at Domino, which is a quick demo on how you can look up estimated reach for different ads created at Facebook and how to check the overlap between those. But first, let's see if we have any questions so far. If not, I will show this demo for you. Okay. So there are quite a few questions. Let's see which one should we first answer. Okay, so there's a question on if I'm thinking about putting this process as an R package. So in the package, you have the functions interacting with the API. If you mean if we can come up with a function, create the ad automatically with the input, I think that's very easy to do. I mean, if you do not want to deal with creating the campaign and the ad set and the actual ads and creating the creatives, uploading images, I think it's very easy. And we do that in production, that we have a script which can create these ads from a spreadsheet. So let's say one of your coworkers creates a spreadsheet with all the related data. So you have a column for the ad image, you have a column for the ad title, the budget, start date, and so on. And iteratively in an R script, you can very easily create these ads automatically. So I think that's easy to do. But honestly, I'm not thinking about publishing that because I think every company has their unique needs for that. But if you would find that interesting, then feel free to create a ticket on GitHub, and I will consider creating a simplified version of that. Okay, can this package balance the impressions when doing A/B tests? So the balance of impressions heavily depends on the optimization goal you set for your campaign and at the ad set level. Like what I've did in this quick demo, when I created the ads, you can see that the number of impressions was very, very different for these ads. This was due to that I created the ads with an optimization of link clicks. So when Facebook realized that people are not willing to click on my create ad that I created, then they decided not to show that ad after all. So if you want to make sure that you get the very same number of impressions for your different ads, you can choose a different optimization goal. And on the other hand, if you see that the number of impressions is getting lower and lower, I suggest to simply create a new ad if you want to make sure that Facebook is not doing the optimization, because for the first few something impressions, of course, there's no optimization because Facebook has no data on how to optimize that. Okay, can we somehow reconstruct graphs of anonymized users, the social network analysis to get more advanced insights? I don't think it's possible. Well, with the insights endpoint, you can get a very detailed breakdown of the performance of your ad, like how it's performing for different demographic groups, but you won't be able to get the user level metrics. So I think it's not possible. Okay, what else? Yeah, I see quite few questions about the optimization goal. Although this package helps a lot when it comes to interacting with the Facebook Marketing API, but to be honest, this is just a wrapper around the Marketing API. So I think most of these questions should be answered by the Marketing API documentation, which is pretty cool, by the way. So if you want to create more advanced algorithms to deal with these ads, I highly suggest to check the related documentation on the Facebook Marketing API, which includes the details on the different optimizations. There are some cool tutorials on how to reach different goals. I'm not answering the question. Let's see which one was that. Can I use this ad campaign on elections too? Well, the simple answer would be that, of course, I see no problems with that. Although Facebook is reviewing the ads, what you are creating, there are a few automated tasks like the image that you upload should not contain a lot of text. So if the image includes more than 20%, so if text is more than 20% of the overall area of the image, that won't be approved. And they are looking for some other forbidden patterns, but I don't see any problems with election-related ads. And forecasting future performance. So although I think this environment is changing from time to time. Just imagine that there are very different users on Facebook at 5 a.m. compared to 11 a.m. or 3 p.m. So it will depend also on when you start your ad, because the first few impressions will be served for those guys who are on Facebook at a given moment. So this environment is changing from time to time, but if you have a good sample size, you run these ads for multiple days or weeks, you have enough data to get a stable baseline for your future ads. So I would say that it's a pretty good way to do some estimates for the future. So yeah, that's absolutely doable. So we have a few minutes left until the hard deadline. I really would like to show you how to do such application with a real example. So I will switch a window to Domino and show you how you can interact with the API in live. I see that there are many other questions. Please feel free to reach out directly in an email or create a ticket on GitHub. I will be very happy to answer your questions if I can. But now let's see, how can I show you the application I created for you. Okay, so hopefully you can see now that I'm logged into Domino, and I created an application called Reach Estimates. Let's see what we have here. If you go to the files, I created only one R script here, which is called main.r. Let's see what we have here. It's only like 70 lines of R script. And honestly, we are only using a subset of that. The first like 10 lines is about installing the packages and caching those packages in the home directory of the user, so that if you rerun this application in the future, this app won't reinstall the fbrats package, all its dependencies, and let's say the Venn diagram package that I used to create an at the end. So then we load the package. I initialize a connection to Facebook. Please note that here I'm using the sys.getEnv function so that I can read my Facebook account and Facebook token from an environmental variable. So I'm not hard coding the account ID and the token here, which wouldn't be secure and wouldn't be modular. So if you are forking this project, you can set up your own system environmental variables if you go to the settings menu, and you can interact with the Facebook API with your own user. Then I look for arguments passed to this application. If there are no arguments passed, then I will use these default values. So the default values are looking for users who are interested in the R programming language, the Python programming language, or Java. Then I have a loop where I'm verifying that these keywords are actually present at Facebook. So I'm using the fbat-get search function, looking for the given keywords, looking for ad interest types, and I verify that there's at least one matching keyword with an ID. If there's no, then I stop the script because I cannot do further lookups. If I have a related Facebook ID, then that, so that in the future I can call the fbed reach estimates function to see if I'm defining a target with users interested in, let's say, R or Python or Java in the United States. Then I get a list from Facebook, and I'm only interested in the number of users here. So here I do like 7 different API queries to Facebook to see the number of users interested in R, in Python, in Java, or in R and Python, Python and Java, and R and Java, and also for those users who are interested in all these terms. So let's see the first run, how it looks like. So I ran it yesterday. You can see that R was started at Domino in a virtual environment. You can see the output of the R console, and we can go to the results. And the results, that's very, very easy to interpret. So we get a Venn diagram. You can see the number of R, Python, and Java users. There's like 5,000 R users on Facebook. Well, sorry, to put it another way, there are at least 500,000 Facebook profiles who showed at least some interest in the R programming language. And we have the same numbers for Python and Java. You can see the overlap. If we concentrate on this middle number, which is like 3,000, so there's only like 3,000 accounts on Facebook who are interested in R and Java as well. So it seems that the number of true unicorns is pretty low compared to those who know Java, Python, or R. And the cool thing, as you can see here, you can comment on different parts of this output. That's a quick conversation we had on this yesterday. And yeah, I see there's a question about if you can use this application or you can see the source code. And Anna already provided the URL. So this project is big. So you can fork this, or you can use this by an anonymous user. For example, if you go to this feature called launchers, if you click the run, there's a very simple web form where you can provide 3 different keywords which will be looked up at Facebook in real time, and this application will be able to generate a similar overlap Venn diagram for you. Of course, there are many ways to improve this R script. Once again, it was done in like 30 minutes, which included doing the tutorial and getting familiar with Domino. Like here, we are not looking for the first keyword. So what happens if a keyword would return multiple add interests IDs? So this is not a production script, but I hope it's a pretty good demo on what could be done. So again, you can fork this application, and you can also go to GitHub and see the actual R package. The master branch includes the version which supports version 2.4. If you have just created a new Facebook application, then please check out this other branch called v2.5 and install that instead of the master branch, which first of all has a more detailed README on how to create the Facebook app and how to connect it with your R session, and support for this new version. All right. Let me see. So there are quite many other questions that unfortunately I do not have time now to answer. But as said previously, please feel free to reach out in email or as a GitHub ticket or on the Domino platform. Really happy to try to answer your questions. All right, so as we already run out of time, instead of 30 minutes, it's over like 50. So thank you very much for joining. This was hopefully useful for everyone. And once again, feel free to reach out. Thank you. Have a good day.